شكون سؤالك؟ مرحبا.
So let's now introduce you Ahmed. He's an Imam. So he speaks good English, he told me. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask him. Okay? Go ahead.
I'll ask him to explain what's his position and how he does.
Yes, please.
I'll just say, explain what his job is, his daily routine and all that sort of stuff.
حضرتك شنو الخدمة ديالك؟
المدير هو الإمام المسجد كنصلي الناس 5 مرات في النهار كنعطي الدروس كندير الخطبة ديال الجمعة.
His job, he says he's an Imam, as you know, and he leads the prayer in the mosque 5 times a day. He gives some lessons of Islam, and he gave the kind of speech I told you on Friday. Before the prayer, which is the most important prayer of the week, it's the second prayer of the day. So usually he stands in a minbar, they call it. It sounds like mini bar. Minbar. There is some stairs. It's a top, so all the Muslim people will be seated like on the rugs, and he will be watching everybody down below, and he will make the speech. He made his own speech, based obviously on verses of the Quran, or it could be what Prophet did in his life and things like that.
Excuse me, does he also consult what's happening to the country? Like, you know, for argument, you have a king here, right?
Yes.
And,
You mean the speech on Friday?
Yeah.
If it's written by Ministry of
Right,
Religious
yeah,
Affairs
yeah.
and given to
give
him,
to him and then
or he's the one who makes
That's
his
right,
own
yeah.
speeches. هذاك ملي كتخدم مع الجماعة واش وزارة الأوقاف هي اللي كتعطيك الخطبة باش تقولها أو أنت هو اللي كتصور الخطبة ديالك؟
فالآيات الدينية هو وزارة الأوقاف ممكن تستفد ولكن الآيات الدينية هو ممكن يكتبها.
He says the Ministry of Religious Affairs, they appoint them in different mosques, but he is the one who writes
his own
I mean,
speech?
His own speech.
What happens if he doesn't agree with the king?
قالك ولا تجي شي حاجة كتمس بالملك.
وقال بأنه الخطبة راه مسائل يعني كتهتم بالمسائل الدينية ماشي مسائل ديال السياسة ولا كتدخل في الشخصية ديال الإنسان كتدخل في الشخصية ديال الجماعة وكيتكلم ما هو ديني.
He says when he makes his speech, he doesn't try to get involved in politics. He just goes to the side of religion. But you are right, because there is a verse of the Quran where it says, if a king goes to a town or a little village or whatever, so the honorable people became like down people, and down people, or those people who are corrupted, that's what the kings do when they go to the village or to the town or to the city. If you are with your honor, you will be bad behaved, so they will put you like in jail or whatever. That's what God says. But that's the verse. Yes. So if you ever talk about this, that means you go against the king.
ماشي بالضبط لأن هذيك النص القرآني الله سبحانه وتعالى ماشي انا اللي قلته ولا شي واحد اللي قالو، هو نص قران اللي قالو هذا واحد كيلحق باش تقولوا، وحتى هو الملك ماشي زعما صافي غير تقول شي حاجه في الملك.
It says that because since it was written by God, and he has the right to say this is God who says that in such and such verse of the Quran. So even the king, he says he would be agree with him. He wouldn't be against him.
والملك هو امير المؤمنين.
And the king, he says he's the prince of believers. He's at the top. He's the prince of the believers. Yeah.
So is the king always right?
اي كل بني ادم خطاء والمخلوق خطاء التواب، هو الانسان
It says nobody is perfect. Even the king is not perfect.
How many imams in the village? Is there one for every mosque? Or does
حضرتك على فيلاش نعيش نتاع شحال بالنسبة للجوامع كاين بالنسبة للسكان. كاين واحد الجامع 100 الناس، جامع 50 الناس.
ما كاين زعما الجامعات يعني تكون تكون 100 ولا تكون 300 يكون الجامع كيكون الدوار هذاك الدوار تكون فيها 3000 ديال الناس هما، وكاين واحد الدوار تكون فيه 250، واحد الدوار تكون فيه 600.
There is
المساجد
no
لله
rules
لا
to
تتعمر.
follow. It could be one village with 3,000 inhabitants. It's only one mosque, and other villages they may have only 100 persons, and there is one mosque. So it's not according to the numbers of the people that they do build the mosques, because some of the mosques are made by the money of individuals. Because, like for example, I have money, I can build myself a mosque, and there is a verse of the Quran that it says, if I do build a mosque on this life, God will build a home for me in heaven. That's answering the question?
المساجد لله ماشي زعما
I still don't think you answered the question of do you have an imam for every mosque?
One imam per mosque, yes.
Every mosque.
And one muazzin, calling for the prayer.
How early does the imam start the training? Does he decide, does the parents decide that he'll be the imam, or he gets the choice, or how does that happen?
وإلا رجعتي الإمام واش كان الاختيار ديالك أو لا والديك أو لا وشمن
لانه في ملي كنقرا القران هو الوالد اللي شجعني باش نحفظ القران.
That was his father who encourages him to learn the Quran by memory. First, his father. When he learned the Quran by memory, then he went to a religious school. That's different portions.
Nay,
Yes.
in our religion, Roman
Yes.
Catholics, the church is very rich.
Yes.
A lot of people used to leave a lot of money to the church. They have schools which
Vatican,
they charge,
yeah.
the Vatican. How do they make the money to keep this? Them, the schools, the
قالت لك في المسيحية عندهم الفاتيكان عندهم فلوس بزاف كيبنيو ليزيكليز ديالهم. انتوما شكون اللي كيخلصكم؟ ملي كتجيبوا الفلوس باش كتبنيو واخا هذيك ما سمعتش عندنا كاين.
لأن المشكل بهذا الرقم السامية اللي مكلفة بجميع المساجد ديال المملكة.
Ministry of Religious Affairs is in charge of all the mosques in Morocco, even though that some mosques are not built by the money or the fund of the government. So it's always the Ministry of Religious Affairs who appoints also the imams and muazzins all over the country. So which means some parts of the money, it's Ministry of Religious Affairs, they discuss the
Yes.
parliament how much money
Yes.
will go for
So it's-
Ministry
it's-
of Religious
it's
Affairs.
It's public funding.
Yeah.
Yes, it's public funding.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do people pay a special tax for that? Like in
For
Germany,
religion,
where I
no.
come from, people have to pay a tax. to the
No,
church.
no, we
Yes.
don't pay. There is giving up, which is not an obligation. If you wish to give money, you give it, but it's not percentage. Yes.
Not compulsory.
You can give, if you want all your money, like the prophets or like the companions of the prophets, maybe he will have in his house maybe $10, and he will have like a guest, and he will spend the $10 and on his guest, and maybe his family they wouldn't have to eat, for example, things like that. Also, it depends of your faith. If I have 200 dirhams, I can give 10, 1, or 100, or all of it. So it depends of your faith. You know. Yes, please.
So rabbis argue with each other a lot, and priests tend to defer to the Pope. Where do the imams fit? Do they get to argue with each other, or is there everyone looks at Mecca?
قال لك في اليهودية ولا في المسيحية عندهم بحال العسكر عندهم درجات. قال لك في ديانة الإسلام واش كاين درجات بحال الإمام
كاين درجات، ولكن في السنيين مثلا في المغرب ما كاينش درجات. لكن مثلا عند الشيعة عندهم آيات الله وعندهم الكبار الكبار، لأنه كيقولوا بأنهم معصومين من الخطايا. ولكن في الإسلام ما كاينش زعما شي.
Well, we come to again Sunnit and Shia. In Sunnit, all the imams are the same, but when it comes to the Shiite, again they have like what we do have in Judaism or in Christianity, or like in the army they go in grades, you know,
Great.
Ayatollah, and it goes like that. Yeah. Any other question?
What is his favorite verse in the Quran?
Where?
His favorite verse in the Quran.
قال لك سنية السورة نورمال ما تكون الحمد لله أحسن سورة
في القرآن كله مزيان. ولكن أم الكتاب هي الفاتحة.
We know, all of us, that the Quran, the whole book, all the chapters and verses are the same. But when we pray, we use, all the Muslims all over the world, a short verse. It's called Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawm Al-Din Iyaka na'budu wa iyaka nasta'in Ihdina as-sirata al-mustaqim Sirata alladhina an'amta alayhim ghayril maghdubi alayhim waladdallin. Every Muslim knows this, so we use it for our prayer. It's the shortest and it contains everything.